Alright, halfway through now, let's get into the unanimated territory of the Super manga. Last time, we covered up to the Tournament of Power, then covered Broly in its own video, which means the way is clear to press onwards. I want to remind you of a few things as we get back into the manga, like Goku and Vegeta's base power being around 200 billion, and that the God form multipliers are much weaker than they are in the anime, as time and time again, they just don't seem that impressive in the manga. Specifically, Super Saiyan God is 800 times base, and Super Saiyan Blue is 50 times stronger than that, at 40,000 times base. So as we return, we get some exposition that Goku can't tap into Ultra Instinct at will. This is followed by the Galactic Patrol attempting to kidnap a sleeping Buu. Since these patrol officers are just average guys in the universe, they fall between like 800 and 2,000. And after that, we're introduced to the star of the Galactic Patrol and the arc itself, Merus. Now, this is another contentious, somewhat frustrating scene from Super, as Merus knocks Goku and Vegeta out with a ray gun. This scene is a lot less frustrating later, as we find out Merus is actually an angel, like Whis. However, I still have a potential issue. There's supposedly a rule that angels can't interfere with mortal affairs and will disappear if they use their true power. But what counts as using their power to interfere with mortal affairs? Kidnapping two of the strongest guys in the universe seems like interference to me. The next logical conclusion to reach is he didn't use his own power to knock them out, and our characters can just be knocked out by a basic space taser, which is insanely stupid. If strong characters can go down so easily, then why was Frieza such a powerful presence in the universe? All they needed was one well-placed stun shot, and you, a normal human, could beat Frieza. Alternatively, you could assume Merus was enhancing the laser with his own power, so that means there's a vaguely large amount of power an angel is allowed to use before they are erased. It's sort of unclear, but we'll talk about this more later on. Now, they wake up, and we are reunited with Jocko, who, from what we know of him, is considerably stronger than the average Frieza Force soldier. He doesn't have the destructive power of the Z Fighters, but I'm gonna put him at like 5,000, as that makes him exceptionally strong on a galactic scale, while not being so strong that he would have been a match for any of Frieza's top enforcers. Quickly, we get into a flashback, where we see South Kai and the Grand Supreme Kai fighting Moro. During said flashback, we get confirmation that Moro has destroyed 320 populated planets, making that one line about there only being 28 inhabited planets even more ridiculous. Now, there's two ways we can scale South Supreme Kai. He was strong enough to make Kid Buu want to absorb him, so to me, this implies he was likely around or stronger than Kid Buu's level, which means he's either around Kid Buu's power of 180 billion, or, since Kid Buu absorbed him, we could also assume the Buu from Dragon Ball Z still has the power he gained from the South Kai. So that would put both South Kai and Kid Buu at 90 billion before they merged. But let's just give South Kai the benefit of the doubt and assume he's at 180 billion. The Grand Kai seemed to be even stronger, since Kid Buu absorbed him too. If we assume the buff Kid Buu was actually at 360 billion, then the Supreme Kai would need to be stronger, so 400 billion. And as we learn in this flashback, all of this happened after the Supreme Kai already sacrificed most of his power to seal Moro's magic. It's hard to scale how strong his original power actually was, but this dude was really strong. I'll bring this up again later when we know how strong young Moro is.
Vegeta, what does the scouter say about his power level? It's over 9,000! What, 9,000? There's no...
Wow. Thanks so much, guys, for helping me reach over 9,000. I'm shocked we've made it this far. For a while, I've been telling my friends that I'll actually call myself a YouTuber when I reach 10,000 subs. And look how close we are. It's crazy. Thank you so much for all the support so far, and I hope I can keep making entertaining videos into the future. So Goku and Vegeta temporarily become members of the Galactic Patrol, and you know, when you really think about it, there's no way Vegeta isn't on the Galactic Patrol's most wanted list. Vegeta was literally Frieza's strongest underling for years. I guess they're overlooking it in the hopes that Vegeta can take down Moro. Speaking of which, when he takes on Vegeta, he pushes him into Super Saiyan God. God Vegeta clearly has the power advantage, Since we later see a stronger Moro lose to a powered up Fat Buu, we actually still have to assume Moro is a lot weaker than Vegeta, but let's put him at least above Vegeta in Super Saiyan, so 12 trillion. If that's really the case, it's kind of weird the Galactic Patrol was even able to hold him in prison in the first place. But somehow they did. Moro uses his magic to overpower Vegeta. It seems like he not only uses the planet's energy, but he also magnifies it, as it would be really weird to say every random planet has enough energy to produce attacks strong enough to hurt a god tier character, and eventually he eats some of New Namek's energy in order to boost his base level. Then, the big twist where it's revealed he's been draining Goku and Vegeta the entire time they've been on the planet. They're weakened so much that they can't even transform. Oh, what's that? That's just my times Goku and Vegeta could have killed Moro but didn't counter. Side note, it's really messed up that the Oracle Fish, who himself is a fish, is fishing here. Back to the fight. Moro goes on to do the villain thing of assuming our heroes will just bleed out instead of finishing them off. Then, they get saved by the Namekians, but with Moro around, they're unable to regain their full power. We see the warrior Namekians of New Namek fuse together in an attempt to take down Moro, but it's no use. But while we're here, let's try and figure out how strong the fused Namekian was. If we assume Nail and Piccolo fuse, and they roughly got a 10 times multiplier to match Frieza, then we can use that here as well. The same warrior Namekians were around 3,000 in power, and we see 7 Namekians fused together. So for every guy, we add his power to the mix, and times the total by 10. That makes 7 times. So the fused Namekian has around a power of 6.3 billion, meaning if they just did this against Frieza, they would have easily beat him. For comparison, the strongest villain they could likely beat is Semi-Perfect Cell, and if they actually wanted to beat Moro, they would have only needed 4 more warrior Namekians to reach 63 trillion. After that, we eventually get a rare Majin Buu fight, which I always appreciate. Buu is seemingly immune to Moro's magic, though how the heck is Majin Buu taking on Moro, who was at least stronger than Super Saiyan Vegeta level? Well, Goku specifically says Buu seems stronger, though the logic as to why doesn't really make sense. As we will later learn, Buu lost all of the Supreme Kai's God Ki when he separated from Kid Buu. For Buu to beat up Moro here, he would need to go from his previous power of 180 billion to like 18 trillion, which is 100 times stronger. This is a bit of a super power scaling bad moment, but this is far from the worst thing Super has done before. After that, Moro regains all of his magic thanks to the Dragon Balls. In response, Goku mentions Moro's ki, so he must be able to multiply his base power level with magic. Now, before we keep going, there's a plot hole here. Before making his wishes, Cranberry kills Elder Mori. As Mori was the current master of the Dragon Balls, they should have deactivated here. They go on to make their 3 wishes before Buu confirms Mori was dead. Clearly, this was a mistake by Toyotaro. Hey, you, stop writing that comment. I wasn't finished. So, at the start of the next chapter, Asuka explains that Mori made him his successor. Since this is the first time we're hearing about this, it makes me think someone told Toyotaro about the mistake he made between chapters, and he included this line to fill the plot hole. Now, we shouldn't be too harsh on Toyotaro for this sort of thing though, as Toriyama also made a very similar mistake during his time in the Buu saga, similarly attempting to fix it in a later chapter as well. And not to pile on, but next, we see Goku and Vegeta going after Moro in space, and it's very clearly stated that Saiyans can't survive in space. But like, you're still stronger than Moro here. Just hold your breath, or even fire ki blasts from the atmosphere. You can see him in the distance. In all likelihood, we should have beaten Moro right here. Since Goku and Vegeta just don't help, the Lord of Lords Buu has to fight Moro alone, as Moro's power grows past Buu's, growing to like 30 trillion. After that, my previous theory about Moro being able to multiply ki with his magic holds true, as all of the prisoners from the Galactic Patrol show up, and Moro powers them up. It's kind of an insane moment of incompetence that Goku and Vegeta let Moro get away here, and didn't finish him off quickly. It's unclear right now how strong the weaker minions are, but at least Sagambo, Moro's strongest minion, is able to punch out a drained Super Saiyan 3 Goku. If we put him at half of Super Saiyan 3 Goku's full power, then he's at 40 trillion, which considering Sagambo is likely somewhere in the range of a few thousand before getting enhanced by Moro, this makes Moro's magic, by far, the strongest power boost in the series. But then, these same minions, with this insane magic boost, also get one-shot by these stupid ray guns. I truly hate these ray guns. As I'll say again, they completely ruin the series. If these exist, then Frieza's family should have never been able to take over the universe. Extremely bad world building. Being strong shouldn't be nearly as big of a deal as it was in Dragon Ball Z if galactic warfare is just decided by guns like in real life. But I guess there was too many goons for their all-powerful guns, so our crew decides to retreat. This leads into Goku and Vegeta going on separate training missions. Next thing of note is some of Moro's strongest guys head to Earth and clash with Earth's B team. We learn of 7-3, who can copy the power of people he grabs the neck of. He can just gain the level of the people he grabs, and can fight with their strength with infinite stamina, but he can only use each copied person's power for 30 minutes. This other goon steals Jocko's gun, as he understands its world-breaking power, and while that happens, the bear guy takes on Krillin. Now, unlike the anime version, our humans never actually got any extreme power boosts, so Krillin should still be around his Cell Saga power level, as he only seems to have come out of retirement during Resurrection of F, and it hasn't actually been that long since then. So we can put Krillin at like 12 million, and Yunba at a similar level, as they clash for a bit and both get out of it unharmed. This does imply that there's a relatively massive gap between the stronger and weaker members of Moro's Goon Squad. If the gap between Yunba and Sagambo is that huge, then the weakest members might even sit below 1 million, even with Moro's boost. This still doesn't make the Galactic Patrol guns okay though, as Vegeta, from the Saiyan saga, was only at 18,000, and even the weakest goons are likely stronger than he was, so it's still ridiculous to say that Saiyan Saga Vegeta could have gotten taken out by a random guy with a space gun. Things look bad for Piccolo, but Gohan shows up and easily takes down 7-3. It looks like Gohan is just going to kill him, but in the last moment, he accesses a copy of Moro's power and eats Gohan's attack. If you forgot, this is the same Gohan who fought Kefla to a draw. This Gohan is 4 times stronger than Blue Goku at 40 quadrillion. However, due to later events, we have to assume even with Moro's power, 7-3 isn't actually anywhere near Gohan in power, and he wins here by exploiting Moro's ability to drain their energy. Moro decides to spare Earth and come back later, so he can absorb an even stronger Goku and Vegeta once they return. We see that Vegeta has got a decent power boost from honing his spirit control, and then we cut back to Goku and Merus near the end of their training, and Whis stops Merus from going all out. Previously, we get a conversation between Whis and the Daishinkan about how Merus is close to breaking Angel Law, and here, Whis says that a full power battle would count. It really is confusing what counts and what doesn't. Even though Whis and the Daishinkan talk about how it's about remaining neutral, it's clearly not the act of interfering that causes them to vanish, as Merus does that several times. From what we see, the only real rule is that they can't use their full strength in a way that would influence the universe, and it specifically means their full strength, as Merus wasn't at risk until he was about to go all out. It's possible it's also about their intention, as Whis is later able to train Goku, despite being even stronger than Merus was here. The difference being, Merus is training Goku with the explicit purpose to kill Moro, while Whis just does it for fun. Okay, 7-3 returns for the rematch with Gohan and Piccolo, and eventually they force him back into using Moro's power. However, they have a plan this time, and they have 17 take on 7-3, and since 17 doesn't have energy, he's able to win. 17 in the manga was comparable to Super Saiyan 3 Goku at 80 trillion, so seeing as he's stronger than Moro's copied power, that means Moro's raw power without magic is below that, let's say 60 trillion. And since we now know that, we can scale the Grand Supreme Kai's original power at like 40 trillion, before he sacrificed most of it to seal Moro. Now for the other Earthlings. Tien and Chaozu's fight is just a gag, so let's just not bother. And just like earlier, despite Master Roshi only having a power level 1000 at most, he's supposedly so skilled he can fight these girls, who are at least late Namek Saga level, which is still the single most inconsistent thing about the Super manga, but at least it's consistent within its inconsistency. Also, this scene debunks a popular argument for the Roshi moment in the Tournament of Power, that Roshi only lasted so long because Jiren wasn't allowed to kill him. Well, these girls explicitly want to kill Roshi and can't. It's just stupid. The girls are, however, able to overpower him after fusing together. Meanwhile, Yamcha, Tien, and Chaozu are losing to Yaoyogi, who basically says he's the second strongest goon under Sagambo. That's a pretty large gray area, putting him somewhere between 15 billion and 40 trillion. But it's pretty clear he's on the weaker side, as Goku finally shows up and one-shots both the fused girls and him, putting both of them below base Goku. Let's put Yaoyogi at like 100 billion and the fused girls at 150 billion. Now, while that was happening, Moro showed up to save 7-3. It seems like for some reason, while 7-3 can use some of Moro's magic, the plot decided for some reason he's unable to access Moro's ability to enhance the ki of himself and others, as despite 17 beating 7-3, Moro can casually make Sagambo strong enough to beat 17, Gohan, and everyone else at the same time. Now, Gohan and Piccolo have been training for the last 2 months, so let's give Piccolo a boost to 20 billion and Gohan a boost to 50 quadrillion, and Sagambo, as I said, is beating him, so let's put him at 70 quadrillion. Moro's ki enhancing magic is literally the most broken ability in the series. Now, Goku arrives, and at first it seems like Goku is stronger than Sagambo in base, but luckily for my sanity, it's later explained that Goku was hitting Sagambo while in Ultra Instinct Omen, and not his base form. After his entrance, he goes blue, and is easily able to beat Sagambo. This is a pretty substantial boost. This puts blue Goku at like 80 quadrillion. That means he's gotten almost 10 times stronger, so he's increased his base from 200 billion to 2 trillion. Moro tries to power up Sagambo even more, but his body can't handle it and he dies. Finally, Goku powers up into Ultra Instinct Omen, and with his new gains, brings his power up to 4.8 quintillion. At this level, he's more than twice as strong as Jiren, and is fast enough to dodge Moro's ki draining magic. Now, to combat Goku, Moro, whose base power is 60 trillion, is able to use his magic to magnify his own power to a similar level, a bit below Goku at 4.5 quintillion. Unfortunately, Goku is unable to maintain his full power for long, so he falls behind Moro before he can take him down. Now, after Goku, Vegeta takes his turn. Now, how much stronger is Vegeta? Well, Goku and Vegeta are eternally represented as equals, and will be that way after this arc. So let's just give Vegeta the same 10 times boost. That makes his base form 2 trillion as well. Then, he powers up into his blue evolved state, boosting his power up to 1.6 quintillion. Well darn. Looks like we're in trouble, huh? Well, it looks like that at first, but Vegeta learned the perfect technique to counter Moro. With Forced Spirit Fission, every hit Vegeta lands lets him drain out the power Moro has stolen. Quick side note, I just want to point out this panel where Vegeta states he's more talented than Goku, as this is very much the case, and way too many people online don't understand this. Vegeta is literally the most talented pure Saiyan in history, outside of Broly, who's a mutant. Now, it looks like Vegeta has won, but Moro had one more ace up his sleeve. Since Moro has experience losing his power, this time he prepared a contingency. The main reason he let 7-3 copy his power was actually so he could serve as a backup to restore his power if he lost it. This new 7-3 Moro not only regains his power, but even gained a bit extra, likely adding his previous full power on top of his current diminished power, adding like 30 trillion on top of his 60 to make his new base form 90 trillion. So his magically enhanced power would also be a third higher, to like 5.9 quintillion. And Moro proves that Force Spirit Fission is kind of a bad technique, as it's only effective if you're able to land a hit on your opponent, so this new Moro just doesn't let that happen. And on top of that, Moro copies Vegeta's power, stacking it on top of his own, bringing him up to 7.5 quintillion. Another thing that probably should have happened here is Moro was able to keep all 3 previous copied abilities 7-3 had, meaning he can regenerate like Piccolo. This also would imply he assimilated Gohan's massive base power into his own, but I'm gonna say this didn't happen, as if it did, it wouldn't make sense for Goku to later surpass Moro again. Now, to really show how strong Moro has become, we see Moro tank an attack from the all-powerful Space Gun. And Moro does finally confirm that Merus does in fact boost the gun with his own power, so I guess I can stop complaining about the gun. But it still doesn't explain why Jocko's gun was so strong. After that, Merus takes on Moro, and the rules about angels disappearing is genuinely so vague and confusing. Merus is using enough power to damage Moro here. Is he not disappearing because he's using tools? That's kind of a stupid loophole. He's definitely using his power to hit him with said tools. Anyways, Moro tries to steal Merus's power, and knowing what a disaster that would be, he finally is forced to use his angel abilities, busting out his angel staff. Merus uses his remaining life to seal off Moro's copy power, and man, guys, I really like Merus. I genuinely think Merus is a strong contender for the best character super introduced to the Dragon Ball story. Merus' sacrifice also served as one last lesson for Goku, finally serving as Goku's catalyst to access Ultra Instinct at will, and like before, it's 4 times stronger than the incomplete version, making Goku's full power 19.2 quintillion, putting him comfortably above Moro. And it shows, as Goku styles on him for the next few chapters. Goku gives Moro a senzu bean here. At the time, everyone made a big deal out of it, but it really wasn't that bad. It goes with the continuing theme of Goku wanting to give everyone a second chance, going along with why Merus was willing to sacrifice himself to empower Goku. And it's not like Goku is taking a risk here. Goku is so overwhelmingly above Moro in both skill and power now that it just doesn't matter if Moro's at full power or not. Immediately after healing, Moro goes on to break his hand, just attempting to punch Goku. Now, after this, we enter the real climax. Moro realizes his severed hand still has Merus's copied abilities and takes his chance to grab it. Moro now adds Merus's power to his own. How strong was Merus? Well, you might expect this to put Moro above Goku, but actually no. Goku is literally him, and is still on par with the combined power of Merus and Moro. That makes Merus's full power 13.1 quintillion. Now, there's a potential hiccup in this though. As I've said multiple times, Moro isn't actually that strong in base, and needs to enhance his energy with magic. If he really gained Merus's power in base, shouldn't he be able to enhance the power he's gained from Merus and grow even stronger? Well, a big theme during this finale is how Moro just takes power that he doesn't earn. Moro's body is shown to not be able to handle Ultra Instinct, as he didn't spend the time to train his body to handle it like Goku. It's possible that matching Goku's power in Ultra Instinct is Moro's limit, as his body just can't handle getting any stronger, just like what happened to Sagambo. So, in desperation, Moro fuses himself with the Earth in an attempt to contain the power of Ultra Instinct. This is where we get the scene where, despite Goku seemingly surpassing Jiren, who was stronger than his god of destruction, Beerus still acts like he's stronger. We are reaching the point where Beerus continuing to be the strongest has started to feel less like he was always that strong, and now feels like he should have been surpassed already. But his plot armor is too strong, and continues to protect him. Luckily for Moro, the god of plot armor has to leave due to being summoned by the Daishinkan. Finally, with the help of Vegeta and everyone else, even the reincarnation of Buu himself, they're able to destroy Moro's crystal, fading his consciousness into the planet. Now, after that, apparently, at the request of Kaioshin, the Daishinkan only temporarily erased Merus, and later revived him as a mortal. Apparently, his angel powers are gone. So what does that mean? I guess he's still able to fight at the level he used while fighting Moro before his staff appeared, which still makes him extremely strong. I'd say like 6 quintillion. Since he lost his angel powers, it's also kinda unclear if he lost his access to Ultra Instinct. I'd kinda lean towards the idea that he can still use it, as a mortal like Goku can use it, and Ultra Instinct is a learned technique, not a special power from being an angel. And this chapter seamlessly transitions into the next arc. So, I actually already finished the script for the entire manga. I fully prepared to just keep going all the way through, but I didn't realize just how long this was going to be. So, for the interest of actually posting a video this week, I'm gonna post this part first, and then get the rest done after. I hope you enjoyed the Moro arc, as while it definitely has issues, it had a lot of strengths as well. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you next time.